Very emotional, from Chambogo to Makere to Wege, all the way to Johannesburg, because rugby has been happening in all the 20s that I've been saying. Welcome to the fourth edition, the fourth episode of the second season of the Let's Talk Rugby Podcast. Of course, on Creator Sports, as we have been doing this every other week since we came back for the second season. Like I said, it's been very, very emotional, and today I'm joined by, should I call them emotional? Not yet sure about that. We'll probably know in the next 20 or so minutes, but I'm joined by Ernest. You can see my immediate right, the Sylvester. He is back. You told me he did very well during last week's podcast. He said valid things, and all the predictions he made, all the calls he made were right on, and he's back also to probably give us what will happen this weekend, and also discuss everything that happened over the weekend in Johannesburg and of course in the Uganda Cup as we look forward to the next promotion. Ernest, yes, I see you're a rugby addict. How is that going for you?
I love rugby. There's no better sport for me in Uganda than the rugby that we watch and we play. So I'm a big rugby addict, so I decided to join the gang.
It's like, what's your addiction?
Very many things. Rugby is one of them, though, that's for sure. And unlike Ernest, I've not got the chance to play, but yeah, I'm in the gang too, I'm sure.
You're a jack of all addictions. Ernest, I do understand you were in the game that saw the Rams make the Shield finale. Sylvester, you were in the stands at Chambogo and at full time. We had and we saw tempers flaring, a few altercations, but thank God it was just that altercation. Rams and Impis are in what we call a derby, the Makere Graveyard derby, and it's the final for the Shield. But how should I say sad are you that Sailors aren't playing this one, or how glad are you Sailors aren't coming up against Impis this weekend?
I've played against Impis before, so it is a game I look forward to because Nyombi in the stands is my friend. I have a number of players on pitch who are my friends, so it is a game I look forward to because of the friendship, and you know how we want to prove to each other. So I would have loved to be in that final, but the result wasn't in our favor and we weren't able to make it. But kudos to Impis and Rams who beat us. I hope, I don't know. I don't know, but I wish both of them the best in that final on Saturday.
You see, you said a number of people in the MP setup, and they are coming up against the Ram side you just played over the weekend. How do you see this particular game going?
I think for me, that game, the way we played against Rams, and I have been playing against Impis and watching them play, I think the game will be, first of all, it's a derby. So all the other statistics and all the history is put to the side, and it's a derby. This is a personal game, but I think it is going to be one it is going to be won by discipline. The team with the best discipline will win that game on the day, and we know that with discipline comes penalties. Impis have a very good kicker, Henry Sekuye. He's a very good kicker. He has been a very good kicker since his high school. So Sekuye will be, if he's on pitch that is, he'll be a very pivotal man on that pitch. And we played against Rams with a good number of penalties which they failed to convert. First half having ended 0-0, and then it becomes 0-3. They miss a couple of penalties close, which would expect the number 10 or any other kicker to convert much easier. So if Rams are not able to score points as tries, it is going to be Impis' game to win.
Sylvester, Ernest, we had 13 points. Like the entire Impis team didn't turn up as regards scoring. Apart from
that's the word you should use. The entire Impis team didn't score.
They did turn up as regards scoring.
Okay.
But Ernest did come to score the points, and in the end it was this 13 that that took Impis over rivals. I should call them university rivals, Chambogo. And of course, like Ernest is suggesting, kicking is got to be pivotal in this very game. First of all, your comments and feelings from the semi-final, and of course we'll get to the final against Rams.
Yeah. I didn't watch the Rams game. Just that I've watched Rams a couple of times, and I think I have an idea what's coming. But
I mean, you train from the same ground.
Yeah, they train from our ground. So that's okay. But our game against Chambogo, I had predicted a tight one. I predicted a tight game because of how the Chambogo community is coming up and how the rugby there is growing. I didn't really expect that it would be that tight. I thought there would be a gap in the scores, but to see that at the end of the game, we were actually hoping that the whistle should come like now. Tactically, they came up with very smart decisions. They kicked right. They took their chances. It was just by fair fortune that were the stronger team and were able to get the try. And yeah, to go on and see the game. So I think I'm glad that Chambogo gave us that game, that kind of game. It will really help us moving forward. I think if it hadn't turned up like that, I would easily give this game to Rams. But given that fixture, I think Impis had a lot to learn, and it will determine how we play.
Yes, determine how you play. So how are you going to play against Rams this weekend?
Ernest made it very clear. Derby really means past and previous form is not very important. What we rely on is who is the opponent now. We are looking forward to playing against the Rams. We've had a few of our players cross there. They've had a few of their players, actually one, cross to us, who was good enough to. And we think, given that already boiling graveyard battle within, we shall be playing a tight game against guys we want to beat. I hope we can beat them. I hope we can beat them. It is a tight one to call. I'm confident we can. It's a very tight game to call because it's Rams. You never really know the score until the game is done.
Funny, you should talk about knowing scores until the game is done. If I take us a bit out of Uganda to South Africa last weekend, we happened to play Kenya twice. Then, both games, it looked like we knew the score from kickoff. Because for some reason, when we're playing Kenya as Uganda, when I say I mean Uganda, when we're playing Kenya, the boys just didn't turn up. But how personal can it be? I mean, Kenya were just running through us. I remember reading somewhere that our big player, our tackle buster, was the pepper of the day.
Yeah.
That was a statement I think I read from Edwin talking about Pasogena and how Kenyans were making him a meal. He was a real Rolex, whether he did Rolex against Kenya. But
I think we need to be a little gentle on the words that we are saying to our national team players. I think Ogena was, should I say, like the victim, because he was singled out as the big man on the team, and breaking him. Even in the Zimbabwe game, he also suffered a couple of proper big hits. So the teams have seen him as the big man, and they know that kill one man, you probably killed around 3 other men. So Alvin Otieno, first time he gets the ball, bangs one fires again. The next time he gets the ball, same channel. So I think the technical team and the Kenya team were intentional in their planning.
They had yellow cards.
And for me, in the first game, that's where I couldn't believe that we couldn't capitalize on that. Philip is our best player. Let's first start with that. Philip Okorach is Uganda's best rugby player at the moment. He could even be Kenya's best player.
Kenya's best ever until he left. Actually, this is when he left.
But we get a man advantage on a yellow card, and we have 4 men on the outside. There's a man down. I think we all saw that game. There's a Kenyan man down. So we are playing 7 men against 5 men.
Yes.
And he tries to go alone. I think maybe
have the number, the numeric advantage.
Yeah, being good as he is, and we know, and he knows it. He tries to carry the team on his shoulders, and on some of those most vital times, it doesn't work. Yeah. And I think that is what cost us that game, because we could have come close in the first half, and tightened the game as it was, because when we lost the ball, he took it in and we lost it. They scored. They literally walked out our own try area and they scored, extended their lead. The man down, they make a substitution. The man with the yellow card comes back on. It's a fair fight, and we continue to concede more tries. That game ended 24-7. So he scores a very beautiful try that makes us forget everything else that had happened earlier in the match. But I think
I personally didn't forget.
Actually, someone also wrote somewhere that while Kenya was focusing on scoring the points and making sure they win, we were scoring on getting very many videos of Philip Okorachi doing middle steps and what. And I think that was right at some point.
Yeah, when I actually look at what Ernest brought out, the point where we had an American advantage, I don't want to think it was only us, the fans, who saw that our boys had a certain lack of confidence about them. And that was the moment, as the big player, for him to, bring everybody in, rally the boys up, let everyone touch the ball in this move to score a nice try. Let's get that try and let's get back into the game.
You talk about that, and I remember at the Safari Sevens how we got into the final. Uganda was playing with 4 men because Aaron Ofoiroth had got a yellow card. And I think he did well in South Africa. He came out of the tournament.
He did amazing.
Yeah, so I think the discipline department on the 7 side is doing well. But we were down by a yellow card, and it was 21, I think 0 at halftime. But we came back to win that game 28-21, courtesy of an Adrian Castillo try. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that we had Ogena in the middle there. We had Keremundu, we had Ian Munyani, and they all passed the ball out. Adrian Castillo was on the far end to score the try. Yeah. It is that, like you say, let everyone be. When the ball does the talking, we score easy tries rather than running through heavy men, and maybe we could have lost the ball. But I think it is that element of let's do it as a team against Zimbabwe that missed out when we were playing against Kenya in South Africa.
Also, in the last podcast, I think I had mentioned that our team that we had taken to South Africa did not have physical ball carriers like Pius. It only had Pius. It didn't have someone to back him up in that kind of department, which meant that the game plan ideally should have been one more towards passing the ball. Let the ball move more. So when we put ourselves in situations where we had to carry now and were against guys whose physique was really bullying ours, it made it very difficult for us. So I think my only comment is I think the boys played well. I gave that team the liberty to go and fail. In my opinion, I was very okay with them failing as long as they got that exposure. And to see that they went that far, I'm really cool with it. I have no feels.
I do believe the boys were playing for more towards than this question, because them being number 2, or because Kenya is a core side, which means the boys are going to Hong Kong. That's a tour. They are going for the repetition. That's another tour. There's still some uncertainty about Dubai happening for them, but Cape Town is supposed to be happening for them as well. So I think, given the fact that there was Safari Sevens and they did so poorly, we were literally at the throats of everyone, from the coach, the players. Even the fact that they did what they did in Esa, I do believe it's everything in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I came with so much fire for Kevin Keremundu, but he managed to prove me wrong.
I almost did remind you that you were on his neck, but he was amongst our players.
He was the only one player I was very worried about, because I didn't think his form prior had justified his call-up. But he stepped into those pedigree shoes, performed really, really well. And I could say the same about almost everyone. Kudos to the team. We move.
I think for me, the best player for me was Isaac Massa. Isaac Massa is not a big rugby player, but to play in the park and be that dominant in the tackles that he attempted in the carries, you saw the try that he scored.
He's a big heart rugby player.
He's a player who plays with all his heart, and for me, he was our best player in South Africa.
Kudos to you, Keremundu. Kudos to you, Massa. The boys have actually chosen you as their best players in South Africa. And I do think Pirates did miss Massa somehow, because there were points that Heathens were on the back for the Pirates were pressing, but they didn't have that ball carrier to help them go probably those next few meters to probably cross the white. And in this game we saw Heathens beating Pirates in their own backyard. I'm sure Pirates are tired of hearing this. Big teams going to Wegger and beating them, but that's what happened, and Heathens came out of that game winners 14th.
It's very sad that we can't win at home. I feel bad that teams come and they are able to beat us at our own home, and then they call us all sorts of names. It breaks my heart. And Saturday, well, not many words have been spoken yet, but I think after the title has been won, it will now, the taps will be open. But I think the way how Heathens played, I could liken it to how England and South Africa, how the final went down. Because first half, we camped in the Heathens area for close to 30 minutes of the first half and were unable to come out with points. It's in the same way with England. England had up to 25 phases in the South Africa 5, but they were unable to score. The moment they decided to send the ball out to the back line, they lost it and they had to settle for 3 points. Yeah. And it's in the same way with Pirates. We couldn't score. We carried the ball. I've seen in the highlights. We carried the ball, set up phase after phase until when the ball was sent out and the player was bundled outside for a line out in favor of Heathens. And it is that strong defense in the first half, because when you go to the halftime, the tempos cool down and you now reset all the pressure. The valve is loosened a bit and you can cool down and re-strategize to win the game. So for me, it is that lengthy moment of defense for Heathens that won them that game. Because coming into the second half, they knew we continue to defend like this and get a few chances of attack, we shall seal it off, and that's what happened.
I think I wouldn't put the blame on Pirates for the loss. I would give the credit entirely to the Heathens, because we know the Pirates in attack, a very little team. They've showed it when they are running the dummies. Aruna is in there, Magomo's brain is in there, the wings are on fire, they are crazy in attack. But then the Heathens know what is always coming. That is the thing about them in 15s. They always know how to defend it, they always know how to frustrate it, and they always know how to keep it at bay. And I think that is exactly what they did. Pirates, I believe there was some form of poor body language. I could see in the highlights how the backline was setting up. Magomo is getting there already at receiver. Scrum-up is picking the ball, and then 13 is right behind Ivan, and then everyone else is just in one straight line. And you're wondering, okay, when the ball comes out, what happens now? What's going to happen? And then you're playing against Heathens, who know that, okay, these guys are now quite disorganized. We can butter our way through, we can open out. You could even see the way Ojo's try was scored. Just one moment of lapse, and Heathens is already running right. They are taking 3, 4, 5 passes in, and it's a touchdown. Yeah, so I think for that kind of game, Pirates could have used the reminder that attack-wise they're a stronger team, they're a better team, and just organize themselves. Maybe rightfully so that they missed Massa, and Corey as a 12 really didn't fill those boots very, very well. I could say Corey comes off as a clear 10, maybe it will take him time to learn the number 12 role. But that aside, you groom a squad. As a coach, you're supposed to groom a squad of players. If number 12 is not around, there should be another number 12. If number 9 is not around, there should be another number 9. So you don't have to switch your scrum up to play fullback every time. So if we get the reminder back into our heads that we are a stronger team in attack, let's capitalize on this attack and outrun their defense, do better than their defense, get the points.
It's a funny thing you guys should talk about the big boots to fill. It so happened that Waswa failed to fill his own boots while at Things Park playing the Cups, because he missed 7 penalties. That's 21 points.
I think if I was talking to a friend and earlier today, and he was telling me that if you went to watch rugby with someone new and you told them that Waswa doesn't miss, or your time is here, and it's his first time to watch Waswa, they would never come to watch rugby with you because you're a liar. So Waswa had a very bad day off his boots, and I think that is what could have even won them the game, because 21 points is a lot. Those are 3 tries.
Exactly. They lost the game by 11 points.
They lost the game by 11 points. So I think they will live to rule the bad boot of Waswa on that day.
But how good was the Cubs backline? Those tries, the moves, the way they managed to run through Mongas, just how good were Cops?
Ernest called Otega at 15 an experiment. I want him to answer this question first.
I think for me, first of all, Cops took this game lightly, and you could tell it was in plain sight. The scrum half, Chirawo, was wearing a number 2 jersey. Guys, come on. It's rugby. Rajodugo was wearing number 9. If this attitude is what is going to go into the final, maybe there are small things we may not look at them on a serious note, but if we are taking things that lightly, yeah, we may be a better side. It may be costly, and then we get to remember, and then those are the things that we shall point out. But Cobs have, isn't their whole team full of wingers? I think everyone
they could make a backline of wingers.
I think everyone can play at the wing in Cobs, and that's the beauty of it, that they are able to make maximum use of their numbers on the outside. And every time the ball goes out, Cobs is no longer the side, will use Kanyama to win the games. But for me, I think, like I was saying, there are 2 experiments. Otega at number 15 and Chimon at number 13. It's going to be a very big risk in the final against Higgins. Because Chimono is a proper winger. Chimono is a very proper winger. And the number of times you'd expect him to carry or to send the ball out, we all know that Chimono does not like passing the ball when he sees a man in front of him. So
isn't that a good thing to have at 13?
Exactly. When you have Daudi Semwami on the outside, or Conrad Mukwaya who can run, I think with the potential on the outside, on some cases you'd want to send that ball out, because which player was at the wing defending against the 2 of them? So for me, I think maybe it worked for them the first time, but they will need to fine-tune it a bit to be able to play against Higgins. We know they are strongholds in the park. They can make maximum use of their park line.
I, for one, would love Chimono at 13. I fancy Chimono at 13 because should he go for that hit and manage to get the gap, he's gone. And then if it is to look at it that she is going to get tackled and racked over, that means given the power he has, he's going to suck in a number of players from the opposition. Now it comes back to the number 9. How fast can he recycle the ball to either Maso or Mukwaya or Otega, who's waiting? Otega at 15 was election for me. On the receiving, his fielding was good, his passing was good. Maybe when Angzi was scoring that try, he was just late. But that is something you can forgive, because really, man, it was a very fast break and Angzi was ready at the whitewash. But to have all that speed of Otega, of Mukwaya, of Semwami, of Chimono, and then you have to sit out some of the players because you want the ball to move faster to your wingers, ignoring the fact that even the man at 13 himself is very, very fast. So for a tournament that's been having games played for 21 years, you've been securing this playoff, played a day before to whet the appetite of the rugby lovers. You get whet the appetite for tomorrow, where the Shield final is going to be played and the main cup final is going to be played. Now I agree. I've seen documentation coming from the union trying to justify why, 1, the game won't be played this time on Friday but on Saturday, and 2, why the earlier communication of 2 p.m. is changed to midday. They say Kings Park Stadium or Arena won the rights to host the finals. I don't know how they managed to win those rights, because there's another club that has a rugby ground that had no idea about those rights being available. Maybe it was a decision made in the boardroom. Good enough. Then they go on to add that we further looked at these games after a communication had been sent out. Is that rightful? Are you going to communicate as the union first, then come back and say, oh, we made a wrong communication here, but after we looked at it, so now we are sending the right one? And even when they sent the right one, they used a platform that did not involve any of the other parties who are going to be stakeholders in this final. So I think, and the other last question I would want to pose, there is a main cup final, there's a playoff and a Shield final. Would you really say the playoff game is a better setup for the main cup final than the Shield final?
But someone will actually argue that the Shield final is between teams that are placed 9th and below, where the placement is 3rd and 4th.
So why did they have to play the Shield if they could decide who 9th and 10th were from the first round and they just didn't have to carry?
I think, Nyobi, you're missing you related football with the rugby, and I think that's where you miss
Ugandan
it.
sport.
Yeah, but
And that was in an answer to the issue of the powers that be investing.
So the way rugby tournaments are set up is that you give everyone a chance to play, to have more time to play, especially with sevens. It was changed from Shield, Bowl to now 13th place, 8th, 9th place, Challenge Cup. So it's the same way. Because when you lose the first game, the round of 16 game in the Uganda Cup, you're out.
Yes.
You've played one game. But they give you a chance to play another game, which is in the Shield quarterfinal. The teams that have gone through will play in the main cup quarterfinal. So from the start, you're already out of the top 8.
Already.
So if you go on to win the Shield, you'll finish as number 9. And then the one that lost to you is number 10. The teams that are in the main cup, in as much as they are out, they will be judged in a different way. But number 1, 2 are in the final, 3, 4 are playing the third place play.
Correct.
So as of first, away from the magnitude of the games and which teams are in the Shield and the main cup, the third place playoff is a bigger game than the Shield Cup in any tournament on this planet, or even when we go to the galaxy. So for me, the third place playoff is a bigger match than the Shield final.
Okay.
But about that discussion, I think the mistake the union made was initially they used an official platform. Okay, we believe email is an official platform. They sent an email to the clubs with an official communication, with an official itinerary of how the games will be played. That is the third place playoff at noon, the Shield final at 2, and the main cup at 4. Then they changed that on their social media. And when the people that had seen the email tried to ask questions, they were told that this is the official communication. And I think that's where the challenge comes in. As an official body, the way you communicate is very important, because you're dealing with very, very many other groups of people. But then for me, that's not the biggest challenge. We know we are in the wet season. So what if it rains on a Saturday morning? Or even Friday night? Yeah, what if it rains? That means you have 3 15s games. One, depending on which starts first. Okay, how would you want it to be played?
Whichever the union will decide.
Whichever.
Or how the clubs will agree.
They've already decided, I think, that the third place playoff will be the second game, with the Shield final being played first.
So I am certain if we are to go on now with these semantics, we shall probably lose the light. The music in the background is going to get louder, and of course I'm
Can
sure.
I please finish with one more thing?
I also have like
Just one more thing.
Each of us wants to partake in whatever is happening. So you have one more thing, so you have a minute.
Yeah.
Sylvester, you have 2 things, you have a minute and a half.
So, I think what the union should be, or even the clubs should be more concerned about, is the status of the pitch where they are going to play. We know that if it rains, the pitch will be so bad. And if you're the team in the final playing at 4, you wouldn't wish to play where 2 15s games have been played before you.
Back to back.
So and there's very many free pitches that could have been used, but then the officers, like Nyambi said, they bid, and Kings Park won the bid to host all the games. So we will need now, since all the games are going to be there, we will need to pray that it doesn't rain on Saturday or Friday night.
I think there will be call for audit on those bids, but before we get to the audits, yes, Sylvester, your minute and a half starts now.
Yeah, he makes a valid point about very many games on one ground. I think even without the rain, the grounds will be worn out by the time of the main cup, and that's not a good thing. The steps of the players will have stepped here and there, and that's quite it. But my argument is there are 2 trophies to award in the Uganda Cup. The moment there are people who fall out of the top 8, it kind of sets up a different tournament within the tournament.
Subset.
And therefore, that means this tournament, much as it's of lesser magnitude, has glory of its own. That people have played through quarterfinals, semi-finals, and have reached the final. To say that your game is of a lesser magnitude because on the standings of the table, these people take a higher precedence. You take the juice out of the word final here. That is same way of justifying that if there was a schools league final on the same day, that the playoff would come ahead of the schools league final, because it's
big boy rugby.
We are looking at the setup here. We are looking at the glory in the weight of this trophy that you're awarding this side and the weight of the trophy you're awarding this side. The playoff guys will literally just walk off after the game. And you have guys who have sweated and dreamed of this. It's the final we play to win that trophy. And we shall not be called Uganda Cup 9th winners if we win it. We shall be called Uganda Cup Shield winners. That is something. We shall not say we are the third Uganda Cup. We are Shield winners. And the union will write it down. Plate, main cup, Cobb/events, Shield, Impis, third or fourth, whatever it will be. And for me, that is where I feel that to come out and publicly mention that, you know what, we changed it, we revised it. Over the years, we've done it and we've not found a problem with it. But now we think that it is not right. I feel there's a disconnect.
It's quite obvious that there are some people and some of us we have to hold accountable to these decisions, and why communication comes out some moments and then it's changed just right after a few minutes or a few moments. I believe that is not right, or probably teams would have prepared differently mentally if things were put in the right set. But like I said before, I gave this gentleman 2.5 minutes combined. It is a very, very long and hefty discussion, of which the light may not seem to allow us even the time, because I do believe they have other things to get to. But of course, it's been amazing having you guys watch us every other week. It's been amazing to talk to you, Sylvester and Ernest. I do believe you have a lot more to say, but
beyond the camera.
Yeah, beyond the camera. And thank you for pressing pause. We shall press play probably when the cameras are off. And thank you for sparing your time and being with us. I'm very, very certain I'm going to be with the guys at Kings Park this weekend.
Definitely.
It's going to be amazing at Kings Park.
And maybe at the graveyard.
You already said the Shield winners.
Sorry, yeah. And the Shield final is going to be at Kings Park.
Kings Park, so.
At 12 p.m., Impis Rams is your winner.
Impis
Rams 12 p.m. 2 p.m. Pirates Mongers.
Pirates.
2 p.m. Pirates Mongers.
That's no doubt where
Pirates.
Pirates.
And if I'm not mistaken, you gave the main cup to Cobbs, you gave the main cup to Eden's.
Yes, okay.
Like I said, I do not want to give predictions for Eden's games, and this one is a very, very hefty one against Cobbs. I don't want people to come from my head on Monday morning, but with those quite a number of words and of course opinions thrown here and there, hope to see you over the weekend, and we sign out.